Thunder shook the city before sunrise while ReedTech Tower glowed against the dark skyline like a machine that never slept. Inside the building, employees moved carefully, too carefully. Nobody laughed loudly anymore, nobody stayed in groups too long, and whenever Marcus Hale appeared, conversations died instantly. By Tuesday morning, rumors had already started spreading across operations about the new intern, the quiet one. The one who asked too many questions, the one Marcus kept watching. Daniel Reed walked through the lobby wearing the same cheap gray jacket and glasses from the day before while employees brushed past him carrying coffee and files, but this morning felt different. People weren't ignoring him anymore, now they were noticing him, and Daniel noticed something else too: security cameras, more than before. Interesting, someone inside ReedTech was getting nervous. The elevator doors opened slowly. Daniel stepped inside beside several exhausted employees standing silently under the cold fluorescent lights. Then one man muttered quietly beside him, "You should stay away from Sophia Carter." Daniel turned slightly. The employee kept staring forward. "She's already in trouble." "Why?" The man hesitated, then answered softly, "Because good people don't survive long in operations." The elevator opened, and before Daniel could ask another question, the employee disappeared into the crowd, leaving Daniel alone with one terrifying realization: people inside ReedTech weren't just afraid of Marcus Hale anymore, they were afraid of being associated with Sophia, which meant whatever Marcus was planning was already getting worse, and somewhere deep inside the company, someone had started investigating the intern too. The office atmosphere felt colder that morning, not physically, emotionally. Employees spoke in whispers while avoiding eye contact with supervisors moving through the departments like guards inside a prison. Daniel sat quietly at his temporary desk reviewing reports while secretly observing everything around him. Patterns were becoming easier to spot now, managers targeting specific employees, people too afraid to defend themselves, HR pretending not to notice obvious abuse. ReedTech wasn't dysfunctional accidentally. Fear had become part of the company structure itself. Then Sophia arrived, and immediately Daniel noticed something wrong. Her eyes looked tired, not normal tired, the kind caused by stress and lack of sleep. She walked quickly toward her desk carrying coffee and folders before freezing slightly after noticing Daniel watching her. "You're here early," she said softly. "So are you." She forced a weak smile. "Didn't really sleep." Daniel studied her expression carefully. "You okay?" Sophia hesitated, then quietly, "Marcus scheduled a private meeting with me this morning." Daniel's eyes narrowed slightly behind his glasses. "What about?" He didn't say. That bothered Daniel immediately, because toxic managers rarely scheduled private meetings without witnesses for anything good, and judging from Sophia's expression, she already knew that too. Before Daniel could respond, Marcus Hale appeared across the office floor. Instant silence. Employees lowered their eyes immediately while Marcus walked slowly through the department holding a tablet in one hand. Power through fear. Classic. Then Marcus stopped directly beside Sophia's desk. Conference room. Now. No greeting, no explanation. Sophia stood slowly while nearby employees pretended not to watch. Daniel noticed something important. Her hands were shaking again. Marcus glanced briefly toward Daniel before speaking coldly. "An intern?" Daniel looked up calmly. "Yes." Marcus smiled faintly. "You'll be assisting archive management today." Interesting. Marcus was moving him away from operations. On purpose. Daniel nodded casually. "Of course." But internally, he understood the message immediately. Marcus Hale had started separating people, and that meant Marcus already suspected something. Sophia quietly followed Marcus toward the conference room while the office remained completely silent behind them. Nobody spoke until the door closed. Then suddenly, everyone exhaled together, like survivors after danger passed. That told Daniel everything he needed to know. Marcus Hale wasn't managing employees, he was controlling them, and now Sophia Carter had become his next target. The conference room blinds shut completely the second Sophia entered. Marcus remained standing near the windows overlooking the rainy skyline while another executive sat quietly near the far side of the table reviewing documents. Sophia stayed near the door, nervous. Marcus turned slowly. "You know why you're here?" No, sir. Marcus walked closer. Too calm, that's unfortunate. He placed several papers onto the table: performance reports, attendance logs, internal evaluations. Sophia frowned immediately. These aren't accurate. Marcus ignored her. Multiple complaints from coworkers. What? Missed deadlines. That's not true. Unprofessional behavior. Sophia stared at him in disbelief. You know that's false. Marcus leaned forward slightly, careful. The room went silent. Sophia suddenly understood what was happening. This wasn't a meeting. It was the beginning of corporate execution. Paper trails, false narratives, manipulated reports. Daniel had been right. They were building a case against her. Marcus sat down slowly. You're intelligent, Sophia. She stayed silent. So let me give you advice. He slid another document across the table, a resignation agreement. Sophia's heart dropped instantly. If you resign quietly, Marcus continued calmly, this stays professional. And if I don't? Marcus smiled again, that same cold smile. Then things become difficult. Sophia looked toward the rainy city outside the glass walls while panic slowly built inside her chest, because suddenly, everything made sense. The overtime reports, the missing complaints, the sudden hostility. They weren't trying to intimidate her anymore. They were removing her, permanently. And deep down, Sophia realized something terrifying. Marcus Hale wasn't nervous, he was confident. Confident nobody inside ReedTech would help her. 3 floors underground, Daniel quietly organized archive boxes while secretly scanning internal files stacked across dusty storage shelves, and what he found disturbed him immediately: missing overtime approvals, deleted payroll records, unsigned compensation reports. Illegal, completely illegal. Marcus Hale wasn't just abusing employees. Someone inside operations had been manipulating labor records for years. Daniel photographed everything carefully using his phone while footsteps echoed faintly somewhere nearby. Then voices appeared again. Marcus wants security watching the intern. Daniel froze slightly. Interesting, he thinks the kid asks too many questions. Another voice answered quietly, what if he already knows something? Silence. Then Marcus will handle him too. Daniel's expression hardened instantly. So Marcus was already investigating him, faster than expected. Daniel quietly stepped deeper between storage shelves while the employees passed nearby without noticing him hidden in the darkness. And for the first time since entering ReedTech undercover, Daniel felt genuine danger, not because of himself, because corrupt people become unpredictable when they feel threatened. Then his phone vibrated softly again. Evelyn Grant, Daniel answered. Quietly, talk. You need to leave operations. No, Daniel. Listen to me carefully. Marcus Hale has connections outside ReedTech. Daniel stayed silent. Labor inspectors. Legal consultants. HR auditors. Corruption protecting corruption. Evelyn continued carefully. If Marcus realizes you're investigating him directly before we expose everything publicly, he'll attack first. Yes. Daniel looked down at the files in his hands, then answered calmly, good. Silence. Evelyn sighed quietly. You really are angry. Daniel's eyes darkened, because he's destroying innocent people. Then upstairs, completely unaware the CEO himself was uncovering evidence beneath the building, Marcus Hale prepared the next stage of Sophia Carter's destruction, and this time, he planned to make an example out of her. By Wednesday afternoon, everyone inside operations knew something bad was coming. The tension felt unbearable. Employees barely spoke, managers moved through departments whispering behind closed doors, and Sophia Carter looked emotionally exhausted. Daniel noticed it immediately. She kept working, kept helping coworkers, kept pretending everything was okay, but fear was finally reaching her. Then at exactly 3:42 p.m., Marcus Hale walked onto the office floor holding a folder. Everybody stopped working. Instant silence. Employees froze. Sophia slowly looked up from her desk. Marcus stood near the center aisle while several executives watched nearby. Then Marcus spoke loudly enough for the entire department to hear. Unfortunately, some employees inside operations have violated company integrity policies. Fear spread immediately across the room. Sophia's breathing slowed. Marcus opened the folder dramatically, and after reviewing internal evidence, he looked directly at Sophia. "We've identified the source." Complete silence. Daniel's jaw tightened, because he understood Marcus's strategy instantly. Public humiliation. Destroy credibility publicly before she can defend herself privately. Marcus placed printed documents onto Sophia's desk, fake reports, manipulated evaluations, false accusations. "You've become a liability to this department." Sophia stared at the pages in disbelief. "These are fake." Marcus crossed his arms calmly. "Are they?" Nobody spoke, nobody moved. Employees watched silently while Sophia stood completely alone in the center of the office, exactly how Marcus wanted it. Fear controls people best through examples. Sophia looked around desperately, but every coworker lowered their eyes, too afraid to help. Then Marcus delivered the final blow. "Security will escort you out after HR completes termination paperwork." Sophia's entire expression collapsed. Daniel felt anger burn through his chest instantly, because this wasn't business anymore. It was cruelty, and Marcus Hale enjoyed it. Sophia grabbed the papers with shaking hands. "You're lying." Marcus stepped closer. "Careful, Sophia." Then quietly enough for only her and Daniel to hear, "You should have deleted the copies." Sophia froze instantly. Daniel's eyes darkened. There it was, confirmation. Marcus knew she still had evidence, and now Daniel finally understood why Marcus looked so calm, because Marcus believed fear would silence her before the truth escaped ReedTech. But Marcus had made one critical mistake. He still thought Daniel Reed was powerless. Then suddenly, Sophia looked toward Daniel, and for one brief second, their eyes locked across the silent office. Daniel gave the smallest nod imaginable. "Stay calm." Sophia stared at him confused, because somehow, the quiet intern looked completely unafraid, and Marcus Hale never noticed the most dangerous thing happening inside operations that moment. The billionaire CEO he was trying to manipulate had finally decided to stop watching from the shadows. Had finally decided to stop watching from the shadows.